Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into the absolutely wild conversation happening online about AI. I mean, it is everywhere, right? But what are people really talking about when they say AI? Let's get into it. So, you see that little two-letter word plastered on everything, but the conversation is all over the place. You've got new features, you've got job fears, you've got everything in between. We're going to cut through all that noise and give you a clear map of what's actually going on. The whole AI conversation, it kind of splits into two totally different worlds. Over on X, it's all about the platforms themselves, what new tools are dropping, what new features are being integrated. But then you jump over to Reddit, and whoa, it's a completely different vibe. That's where the community is really debating the real-world impact and all the tricky ethical questions. All right, first up, let's talk about the fun stuff, the wow factor. We're talking about the actual tools that people are getting their hands on that are changing how we even use social media. Okay, so you're hearing this term a lot, Agentic AI. The easiest way to think about it is, this is an AI that doesn't just answer your questions, it actually does stuff. It's a system that can plan and carry out multi-step tasks all on its own. You're seeing it pop up in things like Grok's Try Voice mode or all those AI chatbots for customer support. People are, understandably, pretty excited about having an assistant that can just go and get things done. And then there's this, multimodal AI. This is huge. This is AI that isn't just stuck in the world of text. It gets and creates content across all different formats. We're talking text, images, and, yep, now video. A perfect example is X, which is planning to roll out a tool called Imagine. The idea is you can type in a simple text prompt and it'll spit out a whole video for you. Crazy, right? So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, it means that making really high-quality content isn't just for the pros anymore. For the first time, these tools are putting the power to make viral memes, incredible art, and slick videos directly into the hands of, well, everyone. And that's completely changing what our feeds even look like. So let's switch gears a bit. We've talked about AI creating stuff, but what about how it's changing the flow of information itself? Because it's not just making content anymore. It's starting to act like a referee for what's true and what's not. So, platforms are trying to use AI to speed up the impossible task of content moderation. Take X, for instance. They're using these AI note writers that automatically suggest community notes to fact-check what people are posting. Then, human volunteers come in and review and approve those notes. It's this new kind of hybrid system, part AI, part human, built to be fast and to cover a ton of ground. And it's not just about policing what's true or false. It's also about making the conversation global. By automatically translating posts and notes, AI is literally breaking down language barriers, which means people from all over the world can actually have a real discussion together. Okay, so we've covered the big public stuff, but now we need to talk about something way more personal. Let's get into one of the most fascinating, and let's be honest, pretty controversial trends out there, the AI companion. This right here, this is the actual description of an AI companion called Valentine that's being worked on. It's designed to interact with you and, well, form an intimate relationship. And Valentine isn't the only one. There are others, like Ani and Rudy, already out there. This shows you that companies are taking this idea very, very seriously. And you can immediately see why this is so complicated, right? This is way more than just a new feature. It's a whole social experiment. It brings up these massive questions about emotional attachment, it creates a whole new world of ethical problems, and it proves there's a real market for this kind of AI companionship. It's a whole new frontier. With things changing this fast, it's totally understandable that people are feeling a little anxious. So let's zoom out and look at those bigger fears, the ones about jobs and ethics that are really driving the conversation, especially on places like Reddit. I mean, look at this. This isn't just us talking, this is the literal title of a hugely popular thread on Reddit. It just perfectly sums up that very real, very widespread fear that AI is coming for people's jobs. This is a huge, huge part of the conversation. But, when you actually read through those discussions, the general feeling is a little more nuanced than just, we're all doomed. It's less about total replacement and more about a massive shift. The consensus seems to be that, yeah, AI makes us more productive, but it also means workers have to adapt, learn new skills, and focus on the bigger, strategic thinking that AI can't do. It's basically a massive call to never stop learning. And all of that anxiety feeds directly into this massive demand for what everyone is calling responsible AI. People and governments are asking the big questions. How does this stuff actually work? Is it biased? Is my data safe? And critically, who's on the hook when it messes up? Laws like the EU AI Act are really forcing this conversation into the spotlight. All right, for our last section, let's look at where this is all going. Because AI isn't just some abstract thing living in the cloud anymore. It's getting much, much closer to home, and in more ways than you might think. Okay, 40.1%. Just take a second and look at that number. What on earth could that be? What does 40.1% have to do with AI? Get this, that is the percentage of source material that large language models, the brains behind modern AI, use that comes from a single website, Reddit. That is unbelievable. It means Reddit isn't just a place people talk about AI. It's one of the main things teaching the AI. The community is literally training the machine. And here's the other way AI is getting local. It's moving out of the cloud and directly onto our devices. For years, AI needed these giant, powerful servers to run. Now we're seeing a huge shift to on-device AI. That means it's faster because there's no internet lag, and it's way better for privacy because your personal data never has to leave your phone or your computer or even your car. And what this all leads to is that AI is becoming more democratic. By making these powerful models small and efficient enough to run on our own devices, it's giving everyone access to incredibly advanced systems, like the next versions of GPT-5. It's not just for the big tech companies anymore. So we've seen how AI is becoming our creator, our referee, our companion, and now it's literally living in our pocket. As it gets woven this deeply into the fabric of our lives, we're left with one final, giant question to think about. Who's supposed to be in charge of the rules?